going to be introducing. And he has an amazing story that begins with a child's love for animals and culminates into a life-saving mission of pairing dogs with veterans as a means of healing PTSD. So we've heard the statistics. At least 20 veterans a day across this country commit suicide. And much of this stems from undiagnosed, untreated cases of PTSD. And so today we're going to learn more about this mission, this journey, and the small things we can do to make a difference. So we'll take, of course, another look at Kaepernick, what it means to be patriotic. Is it offensive to sit? We've got a lot to cover today. So stay with us. We've got a lot to talk about, and we'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
Vince Lombardi once said that it's hard to be aggressive when you're confused. Some of us think that taking our lives to the next level, both personally and professionally, is a confusing and complicated process. Guess what? It's not, and I can prove it. My book, Truisms, will show you how living your life by rules that are so self-evident and obvious, you'll say, I knew that. This powerful yet short, detailed bestseller is on sale right now, under $10. Go to michaelmcfadden.com. That's michaelmcfadden.com, and let Truisms help you to the next level.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made. And not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching. Executive courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda, that's $10,012. Please drive around.
Wait, 10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it. And it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He guides us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
I am an American soldier.
I'm a warrior and a member of a team. I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place this first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit. I will never leave a fallen comrade. I am disciplined.
I am disciplined.
Physically and mentally tough.
Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an expert and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
Georgia.
Y'all need anything else?
Sensation Station Network.
Primary election.
Lack of diversity.
Gas prices.
Michael Jackson. Trending topics.
All right, welcome back to Live Exchange. So we've got some, there's all kinds of stuff in the news happening all the time, but this one, we've heard kind of bits and pieces of the story of Sandra Bland ever since her unfortunate death in behind bars back in 2015. Well, the family of Sandra Bland has reached a wrongful death settlement with the authorities. For those of you who may not recall, she was a 28-year-old African-American woman from suburban Chicago who had to be moved to Waller County, or who moved to Waller County in 2015 seeking a job at her alma mater. And a state trooper pulled her over for failing to signal a lane change. And the situation escalated after Bland appeared to pull out her cell phone to record the stop. And she was accused of being combative and uncooperative. Months earlier, and this is key information and relevant to today's show, Bland had posted on Facebook about her depression and post-traumatic stress, but her family disputed that she exhibited feelings of despair in recent weeks. And if we know anything about post-traumatic stress, you don't necessarily have to exhibit despair every day in order to still be affected by it. So the grand jury in December decided not to bring charges in her death, although the Texas Department of Safety fired the officer in March after he was indicted on a perjury charge. And the details of that charge aren't unclear, but it's tied to him claiming that Bland was combative and uncooperative. So in addition to settling the suit, the Waller County Sheriff's Office has agreed to install automated sensors to assure accurate and timely cell checks at the jail and staff an on-duty nurse around the clock. The Waller County Jail will also seek state legislation for more funding to improve booking, screening, and training at the facility. So the one thing I have a major concern with is, so the results of this is there's a settlement, and now we're going to install automated sensors to assure accurate, timely cell checks. Wonderful. That is assuming that the reason for her death was not due to foul play. So, because if it was due to foul play, these cell checks are not going to do anything. And so it's unfortunate, in my opinion, that this seems to be a case that was kind of swept under the rug. Even though the officer was indicted, I do wonder, is there any further investigation that's going to happen to see if there was any foul play. So, and what's also concerning, and I would love to hear maybe the two of you chime in, is the idea or the fact that she had posted on Facebook about depression and post-traumatic stress. I know there's a lot of work out there about police officers, helping professionals, emergency professionals being trauma aware when they are, addressing situations. And I want to give you an opportunity to comment if you had any thoughts or anything about that.
Well, first thing I want to say is thank you so much for having us on and bringing us to the forefront to talk about these issues. PTSD, I'm so glad you brought it up. PTSD is not just related to veterans and coming out of military and the things they suffer. It is up front, is a mental disorder. And it comes from some type of trauma or consistent trauma or major trauma that you may have received during a period of time, prolonged rape, kidnapping, things of this nature. Mm-hmm. So this mental disorder it should be addressed as such. Sometimes we give it a fancy name, post-traumatic stress, and it still is a depression, an anxiety, a fear, a sense of hopelessness. And the funny thing about it, it's not automatic. We like to put things in a box and talk about it as, well, this just happened and we should see this result. Well, that's not how it works. It can come out years later. I'm a veteran myself. I brought 2 veterans here, disabled veterans that suffered injury in our current wars. I have over 260 veteran men and women on my list that I have to get to, and I don't possibly know how I can get to them all, but I would like to do so. And PTSD looks different in every person. It is a big difference in how she received her symptoms as opposed to how Sergeant Mathis would receive his, or Specialist Young. And we have to address these issues as an individual cause so that we one day can get them better.
Yes. Yeah, and that's one thing that concerned me when I read it, that the family said, well, we haven't seen any symptoms in her, and I'm sure that was probably in her defense, so that if she did exhibit symptoms, that they might sweep her case under the rug and say, well, she obviously was behaving in this way because of this. And so I think in her parents' attempt to defend her, they may have undermined a condition that really needed to be looked at.
Well, the biggest thing is that people don't want to have a disorder. They don't want to have a disability. And when you're just going through your life normal without any issues going on, mental or physical, and then something happens in your life and that changes, then the first thing you try to do is hide that, to try to pretend to be normal or look in sorts, how to look like you did before this incident happened to you. So you're putting on a facade to your friends and family, and they're thinking, well, I guess she's okay. She's a little weird now, but she's hiding. The problem is, you mentioned 22 suicides a day. The true numbers,
it has to be higher.
Close 35. I would say around 38.
Wow.
The true numbers, suicide by police, suicide by drugs, suicide by alcohol or car.
Wow, and we don't account for all of those.
And they didn't even count Texas. It's not even included in those numbers.
Really?
It's one of the largest veteran states in the country.
Why would Texas be left out?
They just don't report the statistics.
Oh, wow. Well, and I've gotten into this conversation before I meant to, but I didn't properly introduce our guest, because I can keep going because I have the things that you said I need to respond to, but I'm going to properly introduce our guest. And so sitting next to me, for those of you who are on Facebook Live, is Blake Top Dog Rashad, and he is one of the nation's leading dog experts, radio show host, and MC. Developed a passion for dog training at a very early age. At 12 years old, he started walking, playing with, and training neighborhood dogs until a dog professional offered Top Dog. Do you want me to call you Top Dog or Rashad?
That's fine. Blake is fine.
Or Blake, by the first name. And he offered him an opportunity to train dogs at his local facility. And so I want him to tell us his story out of his own mouth, as we carry on with the show. But I also want to introduce the other two gentlemen that have joined us. We have... I didn't write down the title. I'm sorry. Sergeant. I need to get it right. Sergeant Mitch Mathis, U.S. Army, and also Specialist Ryan Young, U.S. Army. And they're here to also share their stories. But, I'm going to go to break first. But I can continue. Like I said, I have some other questions. This is a very touchy topic. And so I want to make sure that we get it right and we get it straight so that people have a better understanding by the end of the show. So stay with us on the live exchange, and we'll be right back.
I hate religion. Pretty shocking to hear coming from a pastor, huh? I'm Jasper. This is my wife, Alicia Williams, who is absolutely not religion.
Thanks for asking, but I'd rather not send you nude pictures. I'm camera shy. I already said no. Under my clothes, I'm a robot. My webcam is broken. I'm worried they'll get passed around school. I have a rash. I have nudophobia. I have lizard skin. I'm a vampire, so I don't show up in pictures anyways. Your badgering has really killed the mood.
When someone is pressuring you to do something you don't want to, how many ways can you say no before they get the message? Let us know at that'snotcool.com. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Great leaders aren't born, They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Now, well, you'll see what happens. Sensation Station Network.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela. Today we are talking post-traumatic stress disorder, but also I'm going to be looking a little bit at post-traumatic growth as well, because I see evidence of that happening here. And I'm joined by three gentlemen who all have stories that they're going to share with us. And first, I'd love to hear, from you, Blake, about your foundation and what it's about and how you got it started.
Yes, foundation is Top Dog K9 Foundation. It's a 501c3. It came into existence in 2011. I had started doing work for veterans sometime before that, and then I got committed to helping veterans more and more, and dealing with the issues and dealing with my own issues. But today I'm here to talk about the gentleman that I have here and how they contacted my program for their needs. There's an increasing number of veterans coming out now, and PTSD is coming up more and more. And there's a scientific study that shows that dogs saves lives. Wow. And that's why Mitch came to Top Dog K9 Foundation. Mitch, would you like to add a few words?
Yeah, I mean, I started just kind of going downhill. I got out of the military in 2007, and after an IED blast where I was burned and, had several other orthopedic injuries, I got out of the military and, just did exactly what you were talking about, ignored the symptoms, and then they got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And then towards the end of last year, just went through the bottom. So after several visits through the VA and then throwing medication at me like spaghetti, trying to stick it to a wall, it was, nothing was helping. And so I contacted the local vet center in Lawrenceville, and he got me in touch with Blake. And then Blake got me in touch with Wounded Warrior, and we kind of went from there. And since then, he's even offered me an internship so he can teach me, because he sees how it's therapeutic for me just to work with the animals, not only have a dog for myself, but working with the animals and coming in and being able to pet them and train them and stuff like that. So it's been really, really a good thing, And I still have my ups and downs, and he knows it. Last night was a really, really bad night, and I was able to call him and Des to come over and really kind of talk me down, and it's been really great. It's got, most of my family's in Texas, and so I've got a new family out here now.
Oh, that's a blessing. That is a blessing. And if, and I know that ups and downs, look different for different people, and if you're not interested in sharing that, that's fine, but even in general, what can a down look like for somebody? This is for either the two of you.
I mean, it can be anything, heavy drinking, depression, aggression, irritability, reckless behavior, just it can look like a whole lot of different things.
I think one of the biggest things that's common for most people that suffer PTSD, whether it's from war or from rape or from what this young lady was going through, is we tend to average about 10 to, what people don't know, we tend to average about 10 to 12 or 10 to 15 hours a week of sleep. It's the lack of sleep which adds to that anxiety, which adds to that fear and that depression. And for whatever reason, a lot of it is anxiety. Even when you sleep, you can suffer anxiety and hopelessness, and it hinders your sleep. So it's a reoccurring circle back to anxiety and depression, just making a 24-hour loop when I mean, some days we get 1 hour, 2 hours, some nights, or 0 hours.
And that's not even good when you don't have any other conditions and you're just 1 hour of sleep can make a person delirious, and
you're right. You're absolutely right, and it doesn't get any better. It gets worse day by day.
Figure out how to function that way, though, and so you hide it and you do stuff to keep you going.
Right. You put on that happy face or whatever.
Put on the mask,
face
and
you need to have. Yeah.
I mean, night sweats, night terrors, nightmares, stuff like that. It's very, very common.
Ergo, the reason to increase your alcohol intake, increase your prescription medicine intake to try to put yourself in a zombie-like state so you can sleep. Wow. And that's why a lot of soldiers choose alcohol, because it is a depressant and it helps with sleeping. But there's no truth. Alcohol does not help with sleeping, but it makes you feel like it does. Right.
Wow. Okay, well, we're going to go to break, and when we come back, we're going to look at a little bit of the research and talk about, I want to know a little bit more about terminology as well. So we'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
Great leaders aren't born, they're made. And not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Hey parents, finding it hard to communicate with kids in today's world of ever-changing slang?
Hi, son.
Excuse me? Introducing the Communicizer. Just strap non-toxic Communicizer to your mouth and go from boring old man speak,
I'm here if you want to talk,
to 100% off the chain.
Text me whenever, yo.
It's that easy.
Thanks to Communicizer, I'm relevant to my kids again. I'll fly, boo.
And now when you buy Communicizer, you get the auto-tune attachment free. Sounds so hip-hop, your kids will want to talk to you for hours.
I used to have to walk 3 miles uphill to school every morning, Shorty.
I love you, Dad.
I love you too, son.
Communicizer is not available in stores because it doesn't exist. But that's okay. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Because kids in foster care don't need perfection. They need you. For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Adopt Us Kids and the Ad Council.
I am an American soldier.
I'm a warrior and a member of a team. I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place this first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit. I will never leave a fallen comrade. I am disciplined.
I am disciplined.
Physically and mentally tough.
Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an expert and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy
The enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. Something as simple as walking around the block. He's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. But it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
If you're looking for that ratchet, you're in the wrong place. It's the nation's urban internet station, Sensation Station Network.
In the interest of science,
Science.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. Man, it's a small world. During the break, Blake and I just realized that we had already crossed paths. We're presenting at a conference, Unspoken Wounds in Savannah, Georgia. And at that conference, I actually presented the information that I'm about to share with you now. I used the word healing earlier when I introduced the show, and there's really no cure for PTSD from my understanding.
This is true.
And so I use the word healing in terms of what you're doing and helping people to have better lives and manage their lives in light of post-traumatic stress disorder. And post-traumatic growth is a concept that, well, first I'll tell you what it means. It's positive psychological change experienced as a result of the struggle with major life crisis or traumatic event. So as Blake has articulated a couple of times, trauma is not necessarily just related to combat. So post-traumatic growth can apply to people who have experienced sexual abuse and other forms of trauma as well. And so the idea in basic terms is that we go through traumatic experiences, and there are some that rise above after, and they're able to live powerful, empowering lives as a result, and you actually use that trauma to help others and to help themselves. And so there are a lot of ways in which that's manifested. And so just some information about post-traumatic growth. Just because individuals experience growth does not mean that they will not suffer. So it doesn't mean that it's gone and it's over. They still have those difficult days and those challenges, but they have been able to grow from the experience in general and still need to manage those difficult days. This does not imply that that traumatic events are good. So because somebody experiences post-traumatic growth, it doesn't mean that it was good that they experienced the trauma. I know a lot of people like to brush things off and say, oh, everything happens for a reason. And sometimes that can actually be more painful than helpful. Post-traumatic growth is not universal, so everybody doesn't necessarily experience it. In many cases, it takes intentional initiatives, very similar to what Blake is doing and his foundation is doing, in order to foster post-traumatic growth. And it can result in a resilience for future events that may otherwise be traumatic. So, in other words, a person who experiences post-traumatic growth may, for lack of better words, bounce back from other traumatic situations in a better way than other people would, because they've gone through it and they're a little bit stronger, or maybe a lot stronger than the average person would be when it comes to dealing with trauma. There are 5 positive outcomes of post-traumatic growth. So this is basically what you'll see in a person who's experienced post-traumatic growth. They have improved relationships, perhaps as a result of valuing those close to them. They see new possibilities for their lives, so they have a new sense of hope that they didn't have before. They often evaluate their career options as a result of this hope. They experience greater appreciation for life. They report a greater sense of personal strength, and they develop spirituality as an important part of their lives. In other words, spirituality can also mean purpose. They understand that they have a purpose in their life, and they are more committed to living out that purpose. So that's the gist of post-traumatic growth. This is there's a body of research that's really being housed at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, and they are really spearheading this whole initiative. And so they've also developed an inventory where you can actually assess somebody to determine whether or not they're experiencing growth. So that's post-traumatic growth in a sense. I'm curious to know if you all have anything to add to that. Is that something that seems to make sense, resonate based on your experience actually working with individuals?
That is excellent information, and one key point that you made was it's not universal. So there is growth, and there is also regression from that growth. Yes. So it's a dangerous line that we travel, right. And veterans find themselves we're looking for 4 weeks of less anxiety and less depression, and so what we call it in our business is we're striving for the new norm. Things are never going to be like right. It was, and the VA and the military and the government and the psychiatrists, what they look at is he went through a program called the SHARE program. Maybe he'll tell us a little bit about that. But what it did is make him You did. What did you go something?
I went through the prolonged exposure therapy.
Prolonged exposure, which is another one that's a great program. But what's tough about this program, it breaks down the elements of your traumatic stress, and it forces you to go and deal with every part, from your own injury to the loss of others to the injury of others. And maybe Mitch will share some of that with us.
Well, it involves, first off, that it has what's called in vivo exposures, which is basically homework assignments where it's weekly therapy, usually 90 minutes long for up to 14 weeks. But the homework assignments are to get you out of the house, go walk around the grocery store, go to Walmart, go to the mall, and then record your anxiety level and make you keep doing it until you start to bring that anxiety level down. The other part of it is the visualization part of it, where you basically record yourself with the therapist reliving as if you were actually there the main traumatic events that kind of started all this, and then you go home and you listen to it every day.
That seems really intense.
So you get worse before you get better.
You do get worse before you get better.
Wow. Yeah, and I'm familiar with exposure therapy is probably more the umbrella term for the different forms, and I haven't seen it in action or actually heard somebody speak about it. And so, what was that experience like for you?
It's really tough. By the end, I was able to bring my anxiety levels down. I've been able to get out a little bit, a lot more. And going through it with the dog now is actually kind of raises that level back up now, because he brings attention. So I've got to start getting used to taking him out now to those different places. But the visualization stuff was pretty intense, having to basically relive that explosion and the loss of life and the injuries and that kind of stuff.
Right.
We were able to do a movie. Actually, it's not something that's customary for guys that went through, men and women that go through PTSD, because of the way it's set up. The darkness and the sounds, and we were able to do a movie with these gentlemen, which was a big step forward just for them to agree to do so.
Yeah, wow. Well, every time I have more questions, we have to go to break. So, but I want you all to stay tuned, and we'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
Leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda. That's $10,012. Please drive around.
10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. Something as simple as walking around the block. He's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. But it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
And so a new American industry has been born. Sensation Station Network.
Keeping your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
All right, welcome back to Live Exchange. So one of the things that I just talked about post-traumatic growth, and one of the aspects of post-traumatic growth is that whole sense of life purpose, and that, that's the fifth element of it, and you have a sense of purpose. And one of the things that I would love to challenge you all to do, Blake has found his purpose, based on a natural ability that he has. And I encourage you all to consider your own life purpose this week. That is my challenge for you this week. What is your purpose? Are you living your purpose? And a lot of us don't know what that is and haven't really honed in on it. We struggle to know what our gifts and talents are. And I encourage you to look at your childhood. What are some of the things that you did well as a child? Some of the things that you thrived in that gave you joy as a child. Sometimes as we become adults, some of those things get wiped away. We forget about them. But that might be a clue to what your purpose is. So this week, I really want you to think about what your life purpose is. And that is your challenge for this week. All right. So just to kind of wrap up our conversation with regards to Sergeant Mitch's experience, I wanted to, and you asked this probably much better than I would during the commercial break, but really kind of getting a better understanding of some of those dark moments.
Yes, myself I was at times in my life I was in that very dark place, and you have to pull from those moments of happiness or your loved ones to get through it, because that place gets darker and darker and darker until it points it blacks you out. So and I was able to get myself there, and my purpose, you were talking about finding your purpose, and my purpose to commit to the rest of my life to helping veterans has put me in a position where I don't have to see that dark place again. And Mitch himself, very close to this young man, he tends to go to that dark place a lot more often than we should. And Mitch, would you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Well, I mean, a lot of it just has to do with relationship issues that I've struggled with since all of this started. Dealing with ex-wife and kids, and it tends to send me into a shell in my house, and I just can't get off the couch, or I can't get out of bed, and that's what it looks like for me. And when it gets really, really bad that's when I call, and now I have family that I can call that will respond immediately and come see me. But as far as purpose is concerned, working with VDogs has really given me a reason to get up and get out of the house every day as much as I can.
I love that. That's amazing. And we see, I'm sitting here with two men who are, in very different places, but still have a shared purpose. And I can see really a mutual reliance on each other. So, so I can see that Blake really counts on Sergeant Mitch to help, to assist, to get better, to improve himself. And likewise, this organization is somebody you can call when you're struggling. And so that's an amazing, mutual purpose that I'm seeing.
And I've really had to work on learning to reach out for that help, and it takes to even admit that you need somebody there to help you. It takes a while to even to get to that place where you can do that.
Right.
That's the number one thing. Any veterans listen out there, everybody has a veteran in their family or someone they know is a veteran. Mm-hmm. And that point I want to raise is that you first have to be willing to. You can't do it alone. You have to reach out, and it's somebody you should be able to reach out to. And you could go to VDogs.org, and there's a contact number on there. You can reach out to us if you have no one else, but somebody needs to be there for you. When you go to that dark place, you cannot stay in that place long.
How do you know when it's bad enough to, because some people may say, yeah, I'm feeling down, but I'm fine. How do you know when you're not fine? When is it time to call, to make that call?
Well, your hopelessness engulfs you, where things don't matter anymore. When you start to think, maybe I'll be better if I wasn't here. Mm-hmm. That's when, and you should be asking for help before you get to that point. Mitch, what is your point? Do you, to be honest with you, we're working with you. You call me well past that point that I just mentioned.
It just it creeps up, and you think that you're okay for a little while, and then all of a sudden it just you bottom out, and you start having these thoughts that maybe everyone else, I'm just a burden on everybody else. Maybe they'd just be better off without me. And you go there really quick. And I know it's hard to know an exact point where you say I need to call somebody. But for me, it's like I'm in crisis, and I know I'm in crisis, and I know I've got to call somebody.
Yeah.
Well, it's weapon in hand. With Mitch, it's weapon in hand when he calls me, and then my anxiety goes up. But I got to get to this brother. I got to get to this battle buddy, but once again, the growth is there. He's getting better. It's not every day, but we don't expect it to be.
Right. So I mean, and essentially what's happening is you're keeping him alive. He's keeping himself alive by reaching out.
All of us. We all need each other.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean
amazing.
Just because lately I haven't been there, that doesn't mean I can't go there again.
Right. And so, wow, that is really amazing. And just what I failed to do is really kind of give you all a definition, really, of what trauma looks like. And so when we come back, I'm going to give you guys that a little bit. And I want to thank Mitch for joining us and for just giving us his story.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back.
Green light. Hey, girl. School zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of our United States. Most people know him as a man of great wisdom and vision. What many don't realize, however, is that when it came to finding late-model sedans at government auctions, or even looking up a zip code, Mr. Lincoln's wisdom was sadly lacking. In fact, the citizens of that day knew it best not to even ask. Fortunately, now there's firstgov.gov, the official place to turn when you need information about federal, state, and local government. Whether it's how to get a student loan, renew your passport, or even apply for a small business loan. All three of which, as numerous historians have noted, were remarkably absent from Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. So go to firstgov.gov. Who knows? If Abe had it in his day, he could have checked out an auction and traded that drafty log cabin for a nice condo on Maui. Firstgov.gov, a monumental source of useful information.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda, that's $10,012. Please drive around.
10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
And so a new American industry has been born. Sensation Station Network.
All right, welcome back to the live exchange. One of our listeners and followers is paying attention as well. Penny Arrington just commented, absolutely awesome mutual purpose that you all have here. And I would wholeheartedly agree. One of the things I would like to do before I introduce our next guest is just to give you an idea of what trauma is. We understand, or hear, I shouldn't say we understand, we hear a lot about PTSD, but we don't necessarily dive into what trauma is. And what trauma is in general is a deeply distressing or disturbing experience. It can be emotional shock following a stressful event or a physical injury, which may be associated with physical shock and sometimes leads to long-term neurosis. And it could be just simply, I shouldn't say simply, but a physical injury. And so trauma can have a profound effect on one's lives. All trauma doesn't result in PTSD, but when it does, these are, you see what happens is people will relive the event, avoid reminders of the event, and so on the college campus in particular, one of the things I've trained faculty to consider is if you have veterans who've experienced PTSD in the classroom, having them in a position where their back is to the door is not ideal, or having them in a position in which they are, not able to, where they're kind of barricaded by other desks and things like that. And so those are things that we may not think about on a regular basis, but that we have to be aware of. Other symptoms: trouble sleeping, overly tired, upset stomach, trouble eating, headaches, sweating, rapid heartbeat or breathing, and then existing health problems become worse. And so these are symptoms that you may see on a mild standpoint with stress. In general, stress affects the body, but when it becomes PTSD, it's so much more extreme than just the average stress that we may experience. Some mental and emotional reactions involve bad dreams and nightmares, flashbacks, anger, feeling nervous, feeling guilty, sad, agitated. So there are a lot of reactions that are mental and emotional, and then there's also behavioral reactions, such as drinking, lack of exercise, no longer doing the things that a person once loved to do, sexual activity, things like that. And so that's just to give you a really quick, brief Cliff Notes version of what post-traumatic stress is. And now, and one of the questions I did have was about terminology. When I was at this conference in particular, I was at a session in which a veteran was saying, I don't want to be labeled as a disorder. I want it to be called post-traumatic stress. And until this conference, I had always put post-traumatic stress disorder. And my session was after he spoke, so I immediately went and changed everything from post-traumatic stress disorder to post-traumatic stress. Earlier, when we first got on the show, you said, people like to call it fancy things like post-traumatic stress. So I just wanted to know if that was an intentional, is there terminology that's more appropriate, or is it just based on preference?
Well, we have to be honest with ourselves. I do understand not to be put into a stigma and want to call it a disorder, but it is a mental disorder. It is a change in the way you perceive things. So if we can address it as that, it's kind of hard to heal it or to make it better. So we can give it a fancy name if it makes someone feel better, but traditionally handling mental disorders is not an easy thing, and especially if you get into culturally, Hispanic and African Americans tend to shield or withdraw or to hide their mental disorders. And some other countries and other races embrace disorders and deal with them head on.
What countries do that?
Actually, Caucasians in America do fairly well with going after and dealing with mental disorder as well as physical disorder.
Right.
I grew up here in the South, and I had some family members that weren't put into special schools because they couldn't hear, or they had meningitis or things of that nature. They were just kind of tucked away.
I have family like that too.
So it's a little bit different.
Right, absolutely. Wow. And speaking of culture, with regards to military culture, and correct me if I'm wrong because I'm here to learn too. Does the whole idea of are you trained to mask your feelings and your emotions as a way to be able to engage in combat? And does that then affect how you respond to when you need help? Like, when it comes to after you're back home, does it then condition you to not reach out for help as a result?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everything about the military teaches you to suck it up and move forward. You don't go to sick call. You don't, when you do, you're chastised. You're ridiculed. It's like, don't say anything, make it happen. You have a mission to do. And regardless if you have PTSD or not, just coming out of the military and trying to make a transition into normal civilian life is difficult because of those very things. We come out here, and one time for us is 15 minutes early. One time for the rest of America is 30 minutes late.
That was
you know, and then we got to
today.
and we got to deal with people saying, coming to work and say, I hate this job. I wish I wasn't here, but they chose that job. We don't come from that place. We come from we have a task to do, we get it done.
Right.
You know, so it's just a little different regardless of the mental health disorder. Just dealing with the transition is hard enough.
And I don't know, I wonder if that is even something that can be changed, because how do you train somebody to engage in war without, you know, is there any solution to that? Because you have to numb yourself to what you're about to engage in.
You have to train the person. You have to change the way the person thinks and functions. It is a form of, no one likes to talk about it, it is a form of brainwash and reconditioning. You cannot take a person, a man or woman, off the street and give them a week's worth of training and then send them into combat. It doesn't work that way. It takes time to you're taught, no matter what's going on ahead of you, go forward. Imagine that. Bombs, fire, explosions.
Right.
Keep going forward. Who does that? Military, police officers do. We're groomed. It takes weeks and weeks of training to get you in the mindset that this is what I do regardless. I'll follow orders.
Right, right. Wow. And so, and I guess then there really is no solution other than maybe retraining, if it's possible, to unlearn or untrain time
and family.
Yeah.
Time and family. People that have patience with you, and they can tell you that, hey, tone that down a little bit. It's not like that out here. Calm down.
Yeah.
So, and our loved ones, and we learn to choose the languages that fit out here as opposed to the firm language that we have in there.
Well, and family would then need to be trained as well to know how to respond.
How to allow us to take time to adjust.
Yes. How do I? Well, I can go on and on. So, and Ryan's specialist, Ryan. You're welcome to chime in at any time because I tend to just ramble on. But thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate the opportunity.
So tell me about your experience in what led you to this organization that's name is leaving me. Top Dogg K9 Foundation.
Well, for me, I got out of the military in 2015. I got medically retired, and I was in a nowhere zone. I didn't care really about much. I barely ever left my house. If I did, it was to go to the gas station real quick, grab a pack of smokes or some beer, or hard alcohol or something like that. But I turned into a hermit as soon as I got out of the military, dealing with nightmares and flashbacks, survivor's guilt.
Oh yeah.
Just uncontrollable body urges sometimes. If someone came out of my blind spot, and I've been that close to nailing a couple old ladies who don't know about personal space just because I was 11 Bravo. I was an infantryman. I trained at Fort Benning, and then I was stationed at Fort Lewis, Washington, and it's just going to Afghanistan and doing the job that I had to do and everything like that. That hypervigilance is just out of this world. I didn't know how to deal with it. My family didn't know how to deal with it. It was taking a real toll on my wife and my daughter, becoming very distant and real secluded in my own house.
How fast that unexpected aggression, matter of fact, the dog that we're training for him is being taught block and cover so that if he has a confrontation with a person in front of him, the dog flanks him and pushes against him so that he can have contact with the dog. And all we're looking for is a few seconds of displacement,
right,
so that he can think about his family and this dog, and not the person in front of you. But what I'm asking him is that unexpected aggression is what gets our veterans in trouble. You can be calm like now, and someone can say something out of place to him, or he feel threatened. And it's not like, I mean, people love to say it's a flash. No, it's not a flash that you just thought back to war and then you want to kill this person. It's like, I don't have a tolerance for you.
Right.
Would you agree?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's one thing that gets me a lot is my road rage. I've come many a times ripping my steering wheel off. I actually broke my wife's steering wheel one time. Just because when you're downrange, it's there's not a whole lot of rules. We own the road, you know. Right. There's no stoplights or stop signs in Afghanistan. There's none of that. You got a couple of their national police directing sometimes, but other than that, there's no lanes. Everybody just kind of, oh, this is what we're doing. So when you get over here, 60 miles an hour, and you got to turn your blinker on and all this stuff, it's like, you know, you just think people are dumb. Just utterly dumb and no common sense. And it drives me up the wall. But to answer Rashad's question is, through a lot of therapy and everything, what I've realized that with veterans, you know, the good old saying where 0 to 60,
right.
You know, like that. Well, for most veterans, you know, especially combat veterans, we're already revving at 50. So then 60 is just right there.
Right.
And that's what it has to, that deals with a lot of the aggression. Is just you're already at that point because of the hypervigilance. You're just anticipating anything to go wrong. It's like being Chucky off of Rugrats, thinking of everything that's going to go wrong, and you just want to be prepared.
Confrontation, being confrontational is already home.
Right.
When you come from combat, confrontation is home. So all you need is 2 steps forward, and you're committed to an aggressive moment.
Right. Wow. Well, on that note, we're gonna go to break, and we're gonna come back and just continue this conversation.
In 50 feet, turn left. Why are you driving so slowly?
After a few drinks, I'm taking it slow.
Well, you're not fooling the cop behind you.
What?
Get ready to pay in 0.1 miles.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Love Notes with Dr. Pamela.
All right, welcome back. We are to Love Notes. And so I have a very brief question that I received. Dear Dr. Pamela, my son wants to join the military. I'm very worried for him. I fear the combat, but I also fear the risk of PTSD and the lack of support provided for our troops thereafter. Thoughts? Worried parent. You have any thoughts? Ask the experts here.
I have a son. He's 14, and he's considering going into the military. And one thing that you'll hear collectively from these 3 gentlemen and countless other veterans that have suffered from the military or just came out and have not, we have no regrets. We have no regrets. We don't get into the politics. We are proud of what we've done. And we don't justify what we've done to anyone.
Right.
So when we see young men and women that want to follow the roads that we travel, we're honored, and we need a strong military and to keep people safe, and we need intelligent people and like-minded and calm and stable people to go do this job so that we can still have this America that we love so much.
Right. Wow, I don't think I could have given a better answer than that. Go ahead.
Well, being the most recent of veterans, I would say with how the Army has changed just from Rashad's generations to Mitch's a few years back to mine most recent, just to answer the woman's question about her son wanting to go in, something that I've always noticed is that the military is not for everybody. Absolutely 100% not for everybody. I mean, walking into basic and having guys drop out right then and there because we haven't even gone to actual training. We're just getting our gear right now, but the guys can't deal with it. Guys and girls. It's So the way I look at it is test yourself, prepare yourself. You know, if you think you want to be in the military, go play with some guns at a range, get correct, training, and make sure you're comfortable shooting weapons. I don't know how people yell at you. Just put yourself.
Do your research.
Do your own homework if that's something that you want to do, because if you go in there blind and all of a sudden you got an attitude and you get front kicked by a drill sergeant, that, that's your fault. You don't go. Once you sign that dotted line, you signing your life away.
Right.
You're gonna do everything you can for Uncle Sam.
Wow. And the one thing I will add is that the families really need to be prepared and do their research as well, and know how to prepare themselves for the return of their loved one, so that there's probably no level of preparation you can do to be 100% there, but the family is such an essential aspect of the process.
What I would say is we were talking about combat, but there's so many different branches of the military, and there's so many jobs within even the Army that you can do that are non-combat. And for instance, when I went in, they offered me the position, and I didn't know it existed, to be a cartoonist.
Wow.
I turned it down, but that was amazing that they have jobs like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're going to go to break, and we'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
Station Network.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. We are in the second hour of the show, and wow, we have just got so much information for you today, and some really compelling life experiences. And I think the greatest thing that I'm getting out of this is that we all need each other, and no matter where we are in our own journeys, whether we feel like we've arrived, the problem is if we feel like we've arrived, we probably aren't going to be much help to others. And so what I love about this leader sitting next to me is that he acknowledges his struggle is up and down, but he's using his gifts and talents to help others as well. And I think that probably makes him connect with others, in a much better, real way, as opposed to coming at it like, I'm fixed, so let me fix you. And that tends to be a problem. When I do a lot of my talks with regards to PTSD and post-traumatic growth, I often, and I go in terrified because I realize that I had not experienced combat. I've not been in the military, and so I'm this person from the outside, who's done research, who's trying to educate caregivers about here's what this looks like. And so when I go on, I learn so much more than what I intend to impart to other people, because there's just really no way of fully understanding the experience of of others. Even if you partner with them and you work with them, I will never fully understand the experience, and so I try to come at it quite humbly. So any area in which I need to be corrected, please jump in and let me know at any time.
There are challenges, even for me. I've been doing this quite some time. I've been training dogs for over 30 years. And even dealing with, I had an opportunity, I didn't get a chance to work with her long. She moved on. She had some serious problems with PTSD, but she was in, I can't remember the Army or the Marines. I don't really remember that. But her problem was not combat. It was being raped by multiple leaders over an 8-year period, from base to base, and it will change. And it's easily to think, well, maybe it was her, but that's the wrong thought. Just because she went to base and she got raped again, meaning that men shouldn't rape in the first place. Even if she is a victim, we shouldn't take advantage of it. Exactly. Yeah. So we can't blame it on the victim. But that was her personal PTSD. Wow. And that was a new challenge for me for the short period of time I was dealing with her. That was a new challenge for me because we were coming from a different perspective of PTSD at this point.
Right. Well, and I was wondering about that, if there are the different experiences yield different types of solutions. If the pets, I don't know if you're calling them pets or dogs or
dogs. But
if the VDogs actually would work for everybody in every kind of traumatic situation. So I also want to keep Ryan in this conversation. I don't know if you mentioned the traumatic experience or if you wanted to talk about that at all.
I mean, mine was over in Afghanistan in 2012. I was evading enemy fire. I had to jump off of my very large truck. I ended up compressing my heel into my ankle, collapsing all the cartilage. I had stretch fractures go all the way up my left leg, ligament and muscle damage all the way up my left leg through my back. And then I got into a Humvee accident, actually stateside, that messed up the rest of my body. But that wasn't so much as my traumatic event. It was like, yeah, I want to stay away from RPGs, that'll save my life. But I lost a deer battle over there that I couldn't do anything for because I was on a separate mission. And then a couple of, contacts and sniper fire, and it's, sometimes you just don't realize what's going on because of all the heat and everything. But, when you get back, you get back to your tent and all of a sudden, or you're doing maintenance and I'm looking at my window at my truck and I'm like, if I line that up just right to how I was supposed to actually be sitting down, oh, that could have been it right there if it have broke the second pane on my bulletproof glass.
Wow.
So, and my wife was pregnant while I was on deployment, so it's, every time something like that happened, I'm just like, this can't be the day, but being in the military, and like I said, when you sign that dotted line, it's what you're prepared to do. It's not something you can be scared of. One, when you get scared, you hesitate. When you hesitate, you make mistakes. And usually it's not you the one who dies. It's usually your battle who will die because of your mistake.
And that's that survivor's remorse. Well, we're going to go to another break. When we come back, I really want to hear about how you came to the VDogs organization. All right, we'll be right back.
Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of our United States. Most people know him as a man of great wisdom and vision. What many don't realize, however, is that when it came to finding late-model sedans at government auctions, or even looking up a zip code, Mr. Lincoln's wisdom was sadly lacking. In fact, the citizens of that day knew it best not to even ask. Fortunately, now there's firstgov.gov, the official place to turn when you need information about federal, state, and local government. Whether it's how to get a student loan, renew your passport, or even apply for a small business loan. All three of which, as numerous historians have noted, were remarkably absent from Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. So go to firstgov.gov. Who knows? If Abe had it in his day, he could have checked out an auction and traded that drafty log cabin for a nice condo on Maui. Firstgov.gov, a monumental source of useful information.
It takes 12 years to create a graduate. It takes about the same time to create a dropout. And at the end of the day, the difference between a child becoming one or the other could be you. So United Way is asking you to make a pledge. Tutor a child who needs help. Mentor a kid who needs someone on their side. Volunteer to read to children. Because when a child advances, we all advance. Be a reader, tutor or mentor. Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. Take the pledge now at liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Are you thinking about getting your GED diploma? Well, here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we've got a number of pep talks that can motivate you.
Sometimes things don't always turn out the way you want them to.
You know that feeling? People look at you and don't believe in you.
You want some gentle encouragement. Then you're on your way to your GED diploma and a better life.
But I know they're probably just a little bit nervous. You can find it in yourself to take that first step.
You can improve your future. You can do this. I know you can. You need to start pushing yourself.
Now get your game face on and take the first step towards a better life. Hurry up. Don't make me repeat myself.
Whatever level of motivation you need to get your GED diploma, we've got a pep talk that's right for you. Call 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or visit yourged.org for your pep talk and find free GED classes in your area. GED is a registered trademark of the American Council on Education, brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hello, and welcome to today's lottery drawing. Good luck. And here's today's winning numbers. First one up, it's not yours. Second one, not yours. And another number that's not yours. Okay, this is one number that's yours. It's a 5, but you don't get any money for that. And the final number is not yours.
Yep, so chances are you're not going to hit the lottery anytime soon. Don't get us wrong, the lottery can be fun every now and then. Just please don't rely on it for your future savings. How about this? Brew your own coffee at home instead of buying that latte every day. Brown bag it to work instead of ordering in. Ride your bike instead of buying all that gas. These changes alone can save you thousands a year. Thousands. Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow. Feed that piggy bank. Go to feedthepig.org for more free ideas on how to save. Feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Primary election.
Lack of diversity.
Gas prices.
Michael Jackson. Trending topics.
All right, welcome back to the live exchange. There's so much in like you just mentioned, what sounds just awful, beyond comprehension, is awful. Also, the situation of the woman you said had experienced rape over an 8-year period at different camps and or locations, and my goodness, it just seems that there's a lot of news going on around about rape cases being dismissed or minimized, and the level of trauma that the rape alone causes, let alone having that being dismissed, swept under the rug. In this particular case, there was a judge, and I just wrote his name down and I lost it. But this judge in particular basically suggested that she probably should have kept her knees together. And, as I, listened to this story and watched this story, he had a lot of advice to give, and his advice to her was she should have kept her knees together. This rape happened over a sink in a bathroom, and that she should have maybe pushed her pelvis forward so that he could not have had access to her. He told the guy, I want you to tell your friends, your male friends, that they have to be far more gentle with women, that they have to be far more patient, and they have to be very careful not to get themselves caught up. And wow.
Wow.
So, as I went on and followed this story a little bit more, he also said, he apologized. And he also said that the guys need to protect themselves. They have to be very careful. Not the women. And I do also want to make clear that men get raped too. And so this is not just a male, as the perpetrator, female as the victim situation or survivor. It goes both ways. But this is something that, and it may be trending because of the access that we have with social media, and now more people are posting and paying attention to this issue, which is so important. But what happened was the judge is under investigation now to be removed from his seat, which is wonderful. He's apologized twice, I'm sure because he doesn't want to lose his job. Yeah.
It's insane. Rape is an act of violence.
Yes.
So keeping your knees closed or positioning yourself or thrusting your pelvic forward has nothing to do with the strength of the man and wanting something to create more power for himself.
Right.
It's a very violent act. So that is insane, and he is a very ignorant-minded person to even think this way.
Well, and to further illustrate his level of ignorance, another thing that he said was that women who go to parties and drink and get drunk want to have sex, and so this is all a part of his closing statements in this trial. And so,
would you agree that he may be speaking a statement that a lot of men believe?
I think he's speaking a statement that a lot of men and women believe, because I have heard women equally chastise other women when situations like this happen. It's an unfortunate belief in our culture.
Well, one would be safe. Don't do this. Be safe. That's a different conversation than that. This is going to happen to you, and it should happen to you because you weren't safe.
Right, because you didn't do the right thing. Right. So that is but I mean, and I hate to have to answer your question with saying yes, that is what people believe, but it's a sad truth, and this is why people, like this guy was let off, and of course there is a retrial, happening because of that. Others who have been let off, I saw another just awful story of a guy who basically raped a 2-year-old on camera, who he was babysitting, and was let off for that because they didn't feel that he deserved jail time. He was only 17 years old, and how awful that a 17-year-old would have to go to jail. So I could do an entire show on this, but I think my blood pressure would just get way too high. So, but it is pretty awful what's going on. So that's one of the trending topics. And the other one is this whole issue of Kaepernick sitting for the national anthem. And I'm only bringing this up because they always bring in the veterans and say, well, you are doing a disservice. You're not honoring the veterans when you do that. And several other teams have joined in, including high school athletes. And I would just really love to hear your thoughts on this whole issue.
Well, I'm going to give you, I can't speak, and I can't speak for my entire organization, nor can I speak for these two gentlemen
Absolutely,
here.
right.
But myself on the issue, one of the reasons that I fought, I went in the military, and that I served, one of the major reasons that I served is for a First Amendment right. So we can't nitpick the Constitution just to fit our own individual thing. You don't have to agree. You don't have to agree with a lot of things that happen in America, and you can show your distaste for what's happening, and by not standing for the for the national anthem. This country is not going to stop rolling. Things are not going to stop happening. Right. And we're not going to turn into a communist environment because 10% of America kneels during the national anthem.
If even 10%.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you have 30 seconds. Do you have anything to add? You don't have to.
I mean, I agree. I agree with Rashad.
No, you don't.
Let me finish. I agree with Rashad in the sense, that's what we did. People have the right to, this is the land of the free. That's the point of America. Am I happy that he's doing it? No.
No.
I think it's wrong.
Uh-huh.
I mean, don't pin the stuff that's going on in America on our flag, because our flag doesn't have anything to do with right now with, Black Lives Matters and cops killing kids and all this stuff. No, the American flag is a symbol of our freedom. And so you stand for appreciation for the people who fight for it and the fact that you live in this country. But he has the right not to. Right. And that's his right. I'm happy with it? No. But I don't like the Niners anyways.
Hey, I'm from California.
I am too.
You are? Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's very well stated. I think this is the first time I've heard both sides stated in a very diplomatic, reasonable, understandable way. So I appreciate it.
Hey, you should come to the office. We actually argue about it. It's not very diplomatic.
It's not as
at all.
diplomatic. Oh, I want to hear that version. All right, we will be right back.
Y'all need anything else?
Sensation Station Network.
I am an American soldier. I'm a warrior and a member of a team.
I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place this first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit.
I will never leave a fallen comrade. I am disciplined.
I am disciplined. Physically and mentally tough. Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an expert and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. I mean, okay, something as simple as walking around the block. He's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. But it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Welcome back to the live
Science.
Science.
All right, welcome back to the live exchange. We're having a great discussion over here over the commercial break, and I might have to put you all on the spot. But before we do that, I just want to give you a little bit more research. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about family and how PTSD impacts the family. But first, I want to give you a little bit of research about, and I'm feeling really bad right now. I'm going to have to post it to the thread because I don't have the name of these researchers, but 4 tasks of reintegration. And what they basically did work on is how to get the family to be a strong source of support for the family member that's returning from combat, but also how to support the family, how the family can operate as a unit. And so this is based on the research of these gentlemen and how, and really solutions for what can be done. And the first one is redefining goals. Redefining roles. So what's happened while the service member was away overseas is that the family that's at home, the parent, whether that's the mom or the dad, has had to sort of take over, not sort of, but has had to take over the tasks of the household. And so they are used to handling everything on their own. When the service member returns, often what happens is that they feel that they may not have a role in the home, or they feel kind of like the outsider. Everything has been flowing and going without them there. And when they return, conflict can arise out of not knowing what their role is, or having the parent that has been there feeling that their role is being undermined. And so really redefining those roles, having a conversation about, okay, you're back, here's how we're going to do things in this household. So really just redefining even how the household is run. Keeping emotions in check. Now that's easier said than done. That's just like saying, well, you just don't get mad, or, just be happy. And it's obviously keeping emotions in check is a lot bigger than just that statement of keeping emotions in check. It means doing whatever has to be done to keep emotions in check. So if it means to be a part of or accept the services of the VDog Foundation and getting a dog or canine, or if it means therapy, if it means exposure therapy, whatever it means, in order to be able to help keep those emotions in check. And that is not just for the service member, but it's also for the family who may need to keep emotions in check as well. So also learning how to feel again. And I mentioned this earlier, that during training, there's a lot of training about how to not feel certain things, how to be able to push forward in spite of what you're feeling. And so when you get home, there's a very different approach to feelings that is important to have, or important to maintain once you're home. And so it's really like flipping the switch back on. And flipping the switch back on can be an extremely scary thing, because now I'm feeling, and oh my God, what am I going to do with all of these feelings and these emotions? And number 4 of the 4 tasks is becoming a team. And so, in one sense, you've got 2 different teams happening while somebody is deployed. While they're deployed, their team is the team that they are with while they are in deployment. The team of the family member who's still at home, that's their team. And so they are operating their own team. And so when the 2 come together, there is a need to reestablish as one unit, as one team, and how does that happen? And so those are the 4 tasks: redefining roles, keeping emotions in check, learning how to feel again, and becoming a team. I will make sure that I post the names of these researchers, but this is basically their formula for making it happen, for reintegration. What does that sound like? How does that sound to you? I like to ask those who I know that is a mouthful.
Well, that's good information. I love the way a lot of times we just talk about the problem, and I love the way how you talk about how to bring this in and bring it into the family, and how we can make it better, and how we can have a constructive conversation about getting better. Mm-hmm. So all this is needed information. We just can't keep talking about our problems. We got to talk about how do we blend this in so that my kids still love me and my wife still wants to stay with me.
Right, absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you so much for what you do.
Oh, no problem. And Ryan, I promise we're going to come back after break, and then we're going to talk to you after we come back. I hogged this segment. So.
It's all right.
All right, we'll be right back.
wake up in the morning, love.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda. That's $10,012. Please drive around.
10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
If you're looking for that ratchet, you're in the wrong place. It's the nation's urban internet station, Sensation Station Network.
Keeping your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and we are talking PTSD. I always have to bring in post-traumatic growth, and we are here with the founder of the Top Dog Canine Foundation. But your challenge today, and the reason why this is your challenge, is because Blake, who is the founder, has found his purpose, and he's living out his purpose in a very powerful way, and that is by helping veterans, by pairing them with canine dogs. And so my mission for you, or my challenge for you, is for you to find your own purpose. If you haven't discovered what that purpose is, what is it that you can do to discover that purpose? And we haven't really yet heard Blake's story, so I am definitely going to try to pull that out of him. But at a very young age, as a child, he had a very strong intuitive sense connection to animals, and lo and behold, here he is at 25 years old now, working with you're not 25. Working with animals in a way that changes the lives and veterans and helps them really manage the PTSD. And so I want you to find your purpose. What are you going to be doing at age 25, at age 35, 45, 55, whatever the age is? What are you here to do, and what are you here to accomplish? I want to know that from you. So that is your challenge for this week. So we're going to, you have anything to add to the challenge?
Well, I would like to, one thing is if you bring me back and we can talk about veterans' rights, and then I'll tell you my story. I'll tell you my story then. I'll withhold it until then.
Oh, don't do that to us.
But what I will say, my challenge to America, to Atlanta, to everyone that's listening, you all know a veteran. If you see a veteran in need, help them get help. Help them get help. Don't let them go through this alone. You may not have them long. Help them. You can go to VDogs.org, or you can call 855-777-9311 and contact us. Or there's so many different organizations out there in your area. Help them.
Yes, there are. Yes, there are. VDogs.org. All right. Special Ryan Young, specialist.
Huh. That was horrible. Special Ryan. I mean, I know I got problems. But dang. She's kind of like over the radio.
We kind of like that, don't we?
We're all special. Jeez. We're all special. Specialists. I'm sorry, Ryan Young. Tell us about your story, and in terms of how you ended up connecting with VDogs.
Well, like I said earlier, I got out of Washington State out of Fort Lewis. I moved to West Virginia with my family, thinking I was going to go to school, and my symptoms of just everything just got heavier, and I wasn't able to do it. Was in a lost spot, drank a lot, slept. I just wanted to sleep my life away. That was probably my most main concern. I just wanted to sleep my life away.
And that's a theme I've been hearing for those of you who are listening, wanting to just stay on the couch, sleep.
Yeah, not wanting to harm myself or anything like that, but just hopefully with enough time goes by, I would feel better. But as I just kept sleeping and sleeping, it never did. And then my drinking was very, very bad, and then that's when my wife gave me an option of, family or alcohol. So I picked family, and it was a struggle. Medication and mood swings, and yeah, it was not easy at all. But after we, West Virginia didn't work out, so only other state other than Oregon that I liked, and we were both done with the West Coast, so I like Georgia. Benning was fun, that little leave that I got between basic and AIT. So we came down here and visited. Moved down here last year, August. Then I got my brother-in-law convinced me to get in touch with the Wounded Warrior Project, get a part of them. So I did that. Got into one of their programs. I got a life coach to help me get out of my hermit status of my life, and he told me and my wife about the SHARE program that's attached to the Shepherd Center here in Atlanta. So I went there for 3 months for every kind of therapy you could think of. Physical therapy, occupational therapy, we had a caseworker, had a psychologist, had a doctor.
Wow.
It wasn't easy. It was hard because you do group and you do by yourself. You gotta talk about stuff you never wanted to bring up ever again. And I learned a lot of tools, and then it came to me and learning there that it's a lot of coping, knowing how to deal with what feeling, what attitude, what just happened, or, why are you feeling like this, recognizing all your symptoms so you can cope and deal with them better and still progress through life every day. And so with that, I happened to meet Top Dog over at McKeever's First Ride, which is they don't do it anymore. Last year was the last time they're doing it.
Was it last year?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to contact her.
That's awesome. But it was all about adaptive hippotherapy. So if you're missing a limb or in a wheelchair, it was all about adaptive equipment and hippotherapy hand in hand. And I do hippotherapy myself also. And so
Wait, are you saying hypno, like
hippo?
Oh, okay.
Hippo is for horse.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. I thought you meant hypno, like hypnotized.
Yeah,
Got it.
no.
I'm glad I asked that question.
Hippo.
Okay.
And so horses are like giant dogs. And it was helpful, but I saw Rashad there with his giant schnauzer, and I've loved dogs my whole life. Grew up around them, studied them and everything. So I got to talk to him about his dog and whatnot, and then got his information and told him, I'm trying to work on getting off this cane, going through a couple of things and whatnot, and wanted to try having a service dog because of my PTSD and my vertigo, my mobility's not all there, my TBI. So went through the process, got the interview with them, and I've been since June.
Were you did they predict that you wouldn't walk again?
No, they said I'd never run or jog or anything like that. Yeah, my operation went completely the other side. Oh, you're supposed to have 90%, no pain. You'll be able to do this and that and the other. And I went 8 months on a scooter, 3 months on on crutches, and 2 years on a cane now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So are you expected to graduate from the cane as well?
Yeah, I'm searching
they
for the routes. No one.
They didn't even expect this much.
No.
Wow.
But that's the Army. It's a lot of, here you go. Here you go. So.
Well, and that was one of my questions was with regards to the services that you received, the therapy sessions, the coaching. Was all of that covered? Is that stuff that you?
Well, the shared center is donor funded.
Okay.
And they're through the Shepherd Center, and so that's how that works. So it was, you had to get referred from one of your primary care. They send a letter, then you get your interview and whatnot, and then it's a process. Then you get accepted. and you go live down there. They have apartments, and it's 7:45 till 3 in the afternoon. You know, you're working on yourself and how to become better. Because, like I said, I hadn't been to a grocery store in a year. You know, I didn't drive, and I used to love driving. You know, I love football. I wouldn't watch it anymore. I don't watch any more war movies. You know, action movies are a seldom thing for me now. I watch a lot of cartoons. It's the only thing that's, you know, doesn't have any realism to it to bring back anything. And the nightmares, where, you know, let alone vivid, about to wake up in cold sweats, thrashing. My wife wouldn't sleep with me.
What's thrashing?
Punch, move.
Oh, got it. Okay.
You know,
fighting, actually.
Yeah, going, looking for my weapon. Yeah, it was pretty awful. So going down there and living down there for 12 weeks, and every day I'm going to work on me so I could go home a better man for my wife and my daughter. It was exponential. I had no idea the results. I fought it the first month of that program. It's like I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to do this. Nah, you're not getting me in there. And then once you accept, I got to put a foot forward. No matter if it's a small step, a jump, a lunge, or what, but you got to put a foot forward so you have progress every day.
Right.
And that's why once my mindset changed to that, I saw the benefit. I was just reaping the benefits. Right. My wife, and I didn't even notice it the first time until my wife was like, "This isn't my husband. Not him from a year ago. What'd you do with him? I like this one a lot." And so then when people, it was. It really was. So I was being happier and all this stuff. So it really was just a huge help. I couldn't have asked. And, you know, I put it out there to any veteran that I ever meet. It's like, if you're having a tough time doing whatever you need to do, get in contact with the Shared Initiative program. You know, now knowing Top Dog here, now I tell them, hey, if you need help, you know, I got a guy that you can talk to. You know, if you need a dog, someone to talk to, hang out with, you know, we're here, man. You know, so
resource center,
yeah. So I mean, and Wounded Warrior also. You know, all these organizations are a huge help, which is what I think is the greatest thing that we have them now, because, you know, Vietnam, Korea, World War II, you had USOO, you know, you know, you didn't really have anything else. So,
well, I want to ask, you know, the owner, Sean Prime, you know, my friend Sean Prime, thanks for bringing us on today. But he need to donate my brother here, Mr. Young, Specialist Young, a road rage sign to put on his truck, so that at least everybody knows. Everybody's forewarned, so maybe he can get his own lane.
Now that would be nice. Yes.
Oh yeah, he's rode with me before, so he kind of knows.
Like, let me know before I ride with you.
And that's I think there's actually something to that, because people are so quick to, you know, cut somebody off or flip somebody off, or, you know, roll down the window and start screaming at somebody, and they don't even realize that there might be a ticking time bomb in that car, that you don't know who's in that car and what they've been through and what that may cause.
Oh yeah, I mean, not just veterans, you know, but that, I mean, I know I'm the youngest one here, but my dad raised me real old school, so like even when I was a kid, you know, there's certain things, you know, common sense, that was a huge thing, you know. We had common sense, you know, but now it's like I couldn't be in a grocery store because people would stand too close to me. And I was like, didn't you learn in school when you're a kid about personal space? I got a 6-foot bubble.
Right.
Stay away. But you get these people, it's like the closer they think they get their cart to me, the faster the line's going to go.
That's
it's supposed to be 3 feet.
Nah, I
like 6. Bubble. I'm with you on
that. I got 6-foot bubble, you know.
Yes.
But it's those kind of things, you know, holding the door open for somebody, you know. All that shot out the window. And I'm not, you know, trying to blame all social media or anything like that, but, you know, last 7 years of the new generation, they're out there.
Yeah.
I mean, they're wilding out, and I just think it's ridiculous, because it's like, I'm not that much older than you, man, but you make me feel really old, because if you act like that in school when I was a kid, that's not.
Well, we're gonna go to another break, but yeah, I hear you on all of that. It is getting crazy out there. So when we come back, we're gonna talk a little bit more. I would love to get into relationships and love and how all of this is affected when we come back. No Right Exchange.
Sensation Station Network.
Hey
Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of our United States. Most people know him as a man of great wisdom and vision. What many don't realize, however, is that when it came to finding late-model sedans at government auctions, or even looking up a zip code, Mr. Lincoln's wisdom was sadly lacking. In fact, the citizens of that day knew it best not to even ask. Fortunately, now there's firstgov.gov, the official place to turn when you need information about federal, state, and local government. Whether it's how to get a student loan, renew your passport, or even apply for a small business loan. All three of which, as numerous historians have noted, were remarkably absent from Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. So go to firstgov.gov. Who knows? If Abe had it in his day, he could have checked out an auction and traded that drafty log cabin for a nice condo on Maui. Firstgov.gov, a monumental source of useful information.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection cleared. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
In 50 feet, turn left. Why are you driving so slowly?
After a few drinks, I'm taking it slow.
Well, you're not fooling the cop behind you.
What?
Get ready to pay in 0.1 miles.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Harold Dennis, and I'm running for the office of DeKalb County Sheriff. I believe that there is a brighter future for DeKalb County, and as your sheriff, I will take a tough stance against those who choose to violate our laws and remain actively involved in building a rapport with our youth, which will combat the increasingly violent crimes committed by their peers. This will increase the value of our community in which I was proudly born and raised. Allow me the opportunity to continue my philosophy of public service and building a sound and responsive sheriff's office. Harold Dennis. Vote for me November 8th for DeKalb County Sheriff. And let's take DeKalb back. I'm Harold Dennis, and I approve this message.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
This is big business. This is the American way.
Sensation Station Network.
See ya.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and I have with me here is specialist Ryan Young. and do you have a title that I just haven't been saying, or?
Who?
You. I've been calling you Blake.
I'm Top Dog.
You Top Dog. And we have Top Dog.
I'm at home. This is SSN, baby. I'm at home.
Representing Top Dog K9 Foundation. And we had earlier on Sergeant Mitch Mathis, and they're all sharing their experiences and with regards to PTSD and also how the Top Dog K9 Foundation has been assisting with that. And you know what I realized I haven't done this entire show is I have not given out the phone number for anybody who may want to call. So we have 15 minutes left. Our number is 678-613-5857 for anybody who would like to call, who has anything to say, to add to this conversation. And Ryan just gave us just kind of an overview of his experience and the journey to where he is today. And I did have tons of questions based on what you were saying. And I'm really curious about that relationship component. What happens when you come home? At first we see all the reunions. We see the hugs at the airport and the bliss and everything. And what was there that kind of reunion? And then what happened after that?
Well, I mean, for one, those reunions are kind of glamored, and those ones are set up. There's just certain platoon or certain company coming back that's done something that's probably been over the media, so they come back and they get media on, because the majority, you flying in on a C-130 you hit the tarmac, you get out, you get your bags, you get your speech and talk through. Then you go to a gymnasium or something like that. You wait behind a curtain. Everybody's lined up at the seat that you came in with. And then your family's all waiting. There's I think the Army song or something like that.
Can I back you up a bit? You said the speech that you talk through, so there's like a speech that you get?
Someone, like a commanding officer or somebody talks ahead of before we get.
Got it, okay.
And then, before we get released. Okay. And then before that, usually you'll get an award, ARCOM, which there's so many, I don't even remember them all. They're all acronyms. But, usually, you got your designated award that the platoon or unit got, and then there's a couple of people that stood out as individuals that did certain things.
Okay.
And then you get released to your family. You're not allowed to drive for 2 days, jet lag and trying to get used to, make sure you don't have a road rage and kill somebody because,
after 2 days
they weren't going 100 miles an hour or they weren't going 35 miles an hour or something like that, or they cut you off. I think that's the worst is when someone cuts you off because when you're driving in your unit, you're in the military, you have a convoy, there's just 1 Vic, 2 Vic, 3 Vic, 4 Vic, and that's how it always is. No one's supposed to cut you off. No one gets out of line. So
if somebody cuts you off, that means something's going wrong.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's a jarring feeling. Dang, I forgot what we were talking about.
So we were just getting to what happens with the family and the after that national reunion, which you said it.
So then it really just depends on everybody. It's because you're gone for 9 months, a year, 15 months, but you still are dealing with life. You get your every so often phone calls or on the computer with each other, emails and letters too. So things have gone on. So there could have been an argument, 2 days before you came back. And so you go home, now you're arguing, even though you just got home.
Right.
With me, me and my wife had gotten pregnant before I had left, about 2 months before I left. So I was on deployment. She was in Oregon with her family, pregnant, and then when I came back, I was a dad. I got to watch my daughter's birth on Skype. I had to do a lot of favors to be able to get that ability to do that because they weren't letting anybody go home for births. We were severely undermanned, and so it was something else. Come back from war and then now I'm holding a new life. It was something else.
What about then? You have to circulate for your family. That's why they got to come visit you and to see if.
Yeah, I came back in November, so I was gonna miss Thanksgiving with coming to see any of the family. So Christmas, I had to drive from Washington to Oregon to California, or Northern California, then to Southern California to Nevada, and then Nevada back to Washington.
Wow.
That was Christmas.
Make sure you saw everybody.
Yeah, that was my Christmas break.
You had everybody come to you. Well, I don't know if you want all those people in your house.
No, I don't even like having neighbors, so I didn't want everybody coming to our house.
But that's another thing I've heard is that, sometimes people, they prepare this huge welcome home party thing, and that's the last thing that some people want because it's just too much going on.
Oh, yeah. No.
And I hope they're listening to that right now because more and more soldiers are coming back. And keep it small. Keep it simple. Let them adjust, and gradually let people come in and love that person and show their support. But massive support, not good.
And don't invite your uncle's cousin's boss to the party too, because then you've got there's an affiliate face. You give me attitude now. I gotta watch him. Probably gonna rip his jaw off. There's a lot of things when you come with a stranger's face.
Right.
You don't want to deal with. That's why I've noticed no matter what the nationality is, a lot of veterans just want to go live kind of in the middle of nowhere. Just want to have 20, 15 acres to themselves, to their family, no neighbors, no traffic. We're done with it because we deal with it with so much.
Right.
And please, and don't talk politics when veterans first get out. They don't want to hear your opinion on how do you feel about fighting a war that didn't have any weapons of mass destruction. What?
Yeah.
They don't want to hear that, And so they have to be careful with the politics that you speak to, particularly an injured veteran or a veteran that just got back from combat. We don't do politics.
Well, I was going to ask a political question about Trump. Is that okay, or is that not? Well, no, because this is during the break, and this is because we were talking about it during the break. But one of the things that I just thought about as you said that they give out awards, I couldn't help but hear Donald Trump in my ear saying that he wants a Purple Heart too. Did you hear that?
Nah.
Oh yeah.
I don't watch TV.
Yeah.
I got Hulu and Netflix. I watch my cartoons with my daughter. I stay away from all that stuff.
You probably should.
That's why you like Trump.
You benefit from staying away from that stuff. You know, and,
Hey.
but I just don't know if he understood the. Do you know what it takes to get a Purple Heart? And you understand what you're saying?
I mean, like me and Mitch both got injured.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch got a Purple Heart. I don't have a Purple Heart, but we were both injured because there's actually a criteria to AR and everything. You know, there's a criteria that, all right, did this happen? Did this happen? Did this happen? Now, even though I got hurt and it was during a combat and it was an engagement and whatnot, but because of my injury didn't fit that criteria, so I didn't get one.
Right. But Donald Trump wants one. No. I just say that because it was just such a huge thing, and the level of insensitivity that he has shown in some ways about, you know. But people would argue the same thing about Hillary Clinton, and I think. And I'm just going to put Mitch out there, but I think he and I agree that we just need to just start over. Can we just like get a new slate? Just wipe them all out and just let's start with a new batch.
We draw straws.
Yeah, can we draw straws?
Whoever wins gets to be president.
Right. All right, we will be back on the live exchange.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
And so a new American industry has been born. Sensation Station Network.
All right, welcome back to the live exchange. I think we have all agreed that The Rock should be president.
Oh yeah. Hey, you know that man can sing. You ever seen him sing on a ukulele?
So he's smart, he's strong, he can sing. What else do we do?
Yeah,
he's a big veteran sport.
he's there's new clothing apparel, veteran apparel now.
Oh really?
Yeah.
It's not his.
I don't know if it's his, but I know he sponsors it.
Wow. See, I agree. Dwayne The Rock. I don't know his last name right now.
You know,
Johnson.
He has dual citizenship. He's also Canadian.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. Well, okay, so I know I'm kind of off topic here, but I just had to. But I was asking about just kind of the family life, and so you're saying, basically through your experience and through your journey, it's improved big time, based on.
Yeah, it's taken a while. I was able to, just with all the help from everybody, I wasn't willing to take any help. You'll get another kind of real going through a veteran's head. I'm unique. Nobody understands me. And so when I was at the SHARE program, I made it a point that whenever new veterans came in, I'd tell them, like, look, they've dealt with everybody. Your problems aren't special. Everybody has these types of things. You're your own individual, but there's nothing special about your problems. Well, you got to work through them because, just like we can't say our PTSD as combat veterans or just veterans is different than a car accident victim. It's still PTSD. It's still trauma. It's still something that reoccurs. They'll see nightmares and flashes, and they'll still have a body reaction that they can't control.
Domestic violence,
Yeah. I mean, at least the drinking, drugs, suicide. I mean, it's all there. But being able to recognize the signs and being willing to help, I think a lot of that's, my personal opinion, is that the help from just every day, isn't there as much as it used to be. My own example is that a couple of months ago, there is a car accident right in front of me. two guys in a truck had spun off, went off the ravine, crashed with two trees.
Wow.
And they were, I mean, the truck was bent in. They were real messed up. But I was the first one there, and it was pouring down rain. I got out, I went and checked on them, and right then my Army training, CLS, which is Combat Lifesavers training.
Wow.
I just put rags on their heads where they were bleeding. My wife was calling the cops and everything. Well, about, cops, ambulance, they'd use the jaws of life to rip the roof up so they can pull them out. But about a month later, the passenger calls me back. And we get to talking and everything, and he wanted me to tell him what happened because he was asleep during it. Oh. And the driver, I guess, had fallen asleep with medication that he had taken and didn't let him know. And so we got to talking and everything like that. He's like, I'm not that much of a religious man myself, but he's, you're my guardian angel. Thank you, I'm like, someone was in need, and I wanted to help him, and he's like, what can I do for you? I'm like, no, I don't need you to do anything for me. That's not why I did it.
Right.
You needed help, I helped you, but if you want to do something, just pay it forward. If you see someone else need help, just help them.
That's what we don't hear often enough. We hear that veterans come back, they have PTSD, they have alcohol problems with their family, that their training makes them, numb or whatever to feelings. But we don't think about what the training does and what that does to give you that kind of preparation to help somebody. You didn't think twice. You just jumped in and you helped. And I don't think that we hear that enough about what veterans do once they come back and what they can do once they come back. There's an initiative right now happening in Chicago where veterans are walking the streets of Chicago to help reduce violence. And their presence is making a difference. And I've seen and heard of things like this because I dig for it, because I look for it. But the headlines are 500 killed in Chicago. We don't hear about the veterans that are there that may have prevented the many more, murders that could have happened.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you look at it, a lot of the, a robber's trying to rob somebody or someone's getting attacked. I mean, my guess, probably 1 in 5, 1 in 3, it's a veteran.
You're gonna jump in.
That's stopping somebody, right. That's, pulled the gun to subdue them or shot and killed them, or the 4 National Guard kids in France on the train station stopped the terrorists.
Wow. Again, didn't hear about that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, then South America, the same thing. And then you have volunteer veterans that go over to South Africa to help with the poaching, anti-poaching and everything. I mean,
we need
it's
to
that
hear
programming. Remember we were talking about earlier, that programming where we just respond to violence or things that happen as opposed to giving it thought.
And that to me is, of course it's a double-edged sword, but that is the benefit. We always look at the negative side of it, but my gosh, what a great asset or characteristic that is that's probably ingrained for life,
Oh, yeah.
within.
I mean, you're never going to forget the training. I mean, you spend enough time every day, wake up at 4:45 in the morning, you work out, and you come back, you eat breakfast. And you go back and you gotta go do this, you gotta go do that every single day. I mean, and some of it's a lot of repetitiveness, but some of it's also could be a lot of different. But you go through it every day for so long. I mean, it's just muscle memory. It's like permanent muscle memory. It's not gonna go away as soon as the situation arises. Yeah,
you're in it. Well, and I hate to cut you off. I told you the 2 hours is going to go fast. We are pretty much done, and I just wanted to give you the opportunity to share how to get in contact with your organization. You gave me the email address, and I wrote it somewhere that I can't find.
VDogs.org. You can go to VDogs.org. You can give us a call at 855-777-9311.
All right. There we go. And we'll also make sure that we post this to the Facebook page. Thank you so much for joining us today. I had Sergeant Mitch Mathis, Specialist Ryan Young, and Top Dog here to give us some great information. We'll be back here again next week, Thursday, 11 to 1. And I definitely do hope to have you back for another show so we can hear that story. All right. Have a great day.
Y'all need anything else?
Sensation Station Network.
believe. And when you hear the angels sing, that's destiny. And when I found your love, I was next to dead. I put my hands in the air like rescue me. I was in the 83 from Cadillac with my brother by my side, friends in the back. We could have died that night, I can never forget that. Head on collision, divine intervention. We got my heart, you got my love. And when I pain, you pain, that's real love. And when your granddad was sick, I prayed for him. And when my uncle passed, you were there for, you care for. In heaven, heaven.